All right, so this is what I read in February of 2024. So starting off, I reread Happy Place. Or did I reread it, or was this a first time read? I don't know. My brain not functioning. By Happy Place by Emily Henry. I either read this last year for the first time. I don't think this is my first time reading it. I don't know, but I read it in February. So anyway, this is probably my favorite Emily Henry book. I've always enjoyed her books, but I always felt like something was missing. But I feel like this one hits the note. Like the friendships are well developed, like the story's there for me. The relationship feels real. It's like messy, but it's genuine, and I just like that one. So I would give that 5 stars. That Happy Place book. Then I read Out There Screaming. So Out There Screaming is an anthology type of book. So it's edited by Jordan Peele, but there's multiple authors inside of the book. It's like a bunch of short stories. So I'm not gonna list every author. But I saw this on Libby, and it was like a lucky day loan, and I said, let me check this out. Because I know Jordan Peele. I recognize his name. I've watched all his movies. So I was like, let me see what this is about. And some standouts in the collection to me were Flicker and A Bird Sings by The Etching Tree. So those were the like top 2 that stood out to me at the time. Overall, I think this is a great collection of short stories. Some of the stories are shorter than others, of course, so you can kind of go through them pretty quickly, and they're all kinds of different stories. So some of them are like paranormal, some of them are more like mystery type things. So yeah, that's an interesting one to check out. I would give it 4 stars. Then I read No Exit by Taylor Adams, which I gave 3 stars. I think the concept of the book is strong, but I did not care for the execution. The characters, they just really are not using their brain. They're not thinking through things, and I guess that makes sense if you're in a stressful environment. But I'm like, let's think a little through what we're doing before we do it. It was very fast. It was very suspenseful, but ultimately it wasn't for me. Then I read Maybe Next Time by Seska Major. I would give this 4.5 stars. So the main character, Emma, is flawed, but we're all flawed. But I understand that the book helps the reader like understand and appreciate the little time we have in life. And it definitely hit like an emotional chord in me. And I was in my feels at the end of the book. So overall, you know, it's a good one to check out. I feel like I need to reread this because August Stacy is not really remembering this book from February. Then I read Give Me Your Hand by Megan Abbott. Very interesting read. I felt like the story was predictable at first, but then I was thrown for a curveball. It kept my attention and I was interested, so I gave it 4 stars. Then I read Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption by Stephen King. I had rewatched part of the movie, and I was like, you know what? I've never read this story. And it's a short story. So I was like, I just gotta reread this. I have to read this because I've never read it. And I love that movie. So you gotta go check it out. That's a 5-star for me. Then I reread Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've been in a rereading mood this year, so you're going to see a lot of rereads from me. I really enjoyed reading these characters again. I enjoyed seeing the perspective of then versus now. I kind of like seeing how people grow and change. And it's a very cute, cozy type read. You know, they're like growing up together in love, and it's sweet. Then I read First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. The story was fun. It was a lot of twists and turns. It was kind of like spy adjacent. So it was kind of interesting to see what like author can come up with as far as like backstory, side characters, and more stuff like that. I did give this book 4 stars. Then I read To Love and to Loathe by Martha Waters. I had a free ebook, and this was the one only good option. So I was like, hey, let me check it out, because it's like Regency era, which I don't really read a lot, but I do like those type of stories, like to watch on TV or like movies. And I was like, hey, let me check it out. It was cute, little historical rom-com. Some of the plot and the characters were not my favorite. But I enjoyed the main characters and the relationship, so I gave it 4 stars. Then I read The Last Word by Taylor Adams. The premise was semi-interesting. The execution, again, not there for me. I was trying, because my sister really likes Taylor Adams, so I was like, oh, let me check her out. Or, I don't know if Taylor Adams is... let me just check this author out. The main killer was hard to read because he was just kind of cringy, and you were just like, and then the main character was hard to sympathize with, and her actions were just like, again, what are you doing? Like, somebody's trying to kill you, and I feel like you're being goofy. So 3 stars. And then the last book I read in February was Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult, which I gave 4 stars. Pretty interesting story, kept me invested. I do think like the reveal in the story was like surprising, but it wasn't necessary. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay, is this what the whole book's about? Yeah, I don't know. That is everything I read in February.